Alright, so these are one of the this is one of the items that I got for Christmas. This is the Sega Genesis Flashback console. And as you can see, it's basically a mini Sega Genesis Model 1, and wow, my camera is terrible. It could be my phone. Maybe I have to replace it. What's good about this console and what makes it better than the earlier ones, the classic game console, by AtGames, the classic game console by AtGames, well, a lot of people hated it because of the fact that, the sound, the audio was so bad. And I have made a Sonic the Hedgehog gameplay video a long time ago, and that was the console that I used, and the audio was terrible. But I personally didn't mind it until, like, last year. I felt like listening to like original music sounded great, and I was trying to get irritated by the horrible sound, and well, they fixed that on this one. So yeah, this is the Sega Genesis Flashback console. Got it for Christmas. I got two more consoles that I got for Christmas. So over here, we got the Nintendo Switch dock, which means that I also got a Nintendo Switch for Christmas. And something else about this console, what's also great about it, is that it uses HDMI. So on the back, yeah. And what's also great, well, this is kind of like the previous one. It works with cartridges. However, there is a problem with the Flashback console. On this one, it's got a slightly more compatibility issues than just sound. Here, the sound is fixed, but now it's something else. Almost all Sega Genesis clone consoles I know work with Sonic the Hedgehog 3. This one doesn't. It does not work with Sonic 3. And I can't believe that. And yeah, there's the cartridge. It loaded. I just can't believe that Sonic the Hedgehog 3 doesn't work on this. All because this had to run Android. Oh well, at least, yeah. At least you get to play a lot of cartridges in Glamorous HD. LJN, terrible company. I watched the Angry Video Game Nerd, and yeah, quite a few LJN games. He reviewed quite a few of them, and every single one of them sucked. But this is an LJN game, but I surprisingly find this a good game, believe it or not. And it's surprising, and on the controller is a huge improvement over the slightly older AtGames consoles. Because at first, if there was like something in the way, like if there was like something in front of the controller, the controller would disconnect. And here uses a different type of connection, and no matter how covered the controller is, it never disconnects. And what's worse, on the other one, you have to point directly at the console. A little bit up, a little bit down, will disconnect. On here, the controller is perfect. And the D-pad feels a lot more stable. It doesn't feel as loose as the previous one. So we gotta shut this off, remove the cartridge, and turn it back on, because I'm not sure if you're supposed to take it out while it's on. I have a feeling that could damage like either the cartridge or the console. That's what it will look like when you turn it on. The AtGames logo, and here you go. You got a few how do I say, slots. The games are kind of organized. Got the cartridge slot, which I just used, but I just removed it. We got favorites. Recent, though these are the recent Sega Genesis games that I've played. The Sega games, which are the official licensed Sega Genesis games. We got, but surprisingly, guess what? There are Master System and Game Gear titles on this thing. Yeah, that's right. You can play like Sonic Chaos. It has Sonic Chaos. And Triple Trouble. Triple Trouble is my personal favorite Game Gear game. And it's got the Mortal Kombat series. Oh, how I love that. How I love the Mortal Kombat series. And they were nice enough to sort the Sonic the Hedgehog games. So we got Sonic 1, Sonic 2, Sonic and Knuckles, because Sonic 3 doesn't work on this thing. Sonic Spinball, which I enjoy. Sonic 3D Blast. A lot of people hate this game. A lot of people like this game. I personally think it's an okay game. Like, sometimes I have trouble with it, but I don't think it's really bad. I just have a few problems with it. Here's Sonic Chaos for the Game Gear. Sonic Drift 2. Sonic Drift 1 was never released in North America. Sonic Triple Trouble, again, my favorite Game Gear game. And Tails Adventure, which I have never played before. And I'm willing to give it a try. And I remember when I said they fixed the sound on the earlier AtGames consoles. The audio was so off key and the volume was too loud. They fixed that on this console, and they did really well. They just needs a few updates. Like, they gotta figure out how to get Sonic 3 working so I can buy the cartridge, because I love Sonic 3. So I'm gonna load some Sonic 1. I'm gonna pull up the volume to see how good it sounds on this console. So you can save your game, as you can see. Just listen to this. Doesn't that sound perfect, or what? And listen to this! Exactly how I remember it. That's exactly what it's supposed to sound like. And the video's not stretched. The video's not stretched because on a lot of TVs, like the really long ones, the videos look so weird, so AtGames just decided, let's put it in like 4:3 mode. And it actually looks pretty good. Great job, guys. This is a huge improvement over the previous consoles. So yeah. And again, I said that this thing did come with Master System and Game Gear games. So I'm gonna pull up Triple Trouble. Per se, and look at that background. It actually represents an actual Game Gear, and I have one. And it sounds perfect. I have an actual Game Gear. I'm just having trouble getting it out. Look at this. See, I got a real Game Gear here. Got the real deal. Look at that. Oh, that background is just perfectly represents the actual console here. We just put that there. The controls are perfect. Okay? I had absolutely no problem with them. And I mean, you're probably wondering why I'm not actually playing any of the titles. Well, that's because when I'm recording a game, it's hard for me to play with one hand. Heck, even Pac-Man is hard to play with one hand, because on the other hand, you gotta hold down the thing, like the console that you're using, and the controller, and it's pretty frustrating. And here we have the bonus games, which absolutely no one cares about, but I actually have a love for two of the titles in the bonus games. We got the two of the titles that I personally like are Air Hockey and Bomber. And I know Bomber is a clone of Bomberman, and I've also noticed a typo. There's two O's in the title, and one of the O's is a bomb. So I don't think that makes any sense. Air Hockey, slightly modified. Instead of the slots being like on the sides, they just put it like on the corners, which doesn't make any sense, but I personally think it's fun. Do I recommend this console? Well, if you have like a limited cartridges like Maximum Carnage, this game I don't really care about. This game I love. A good LJN game? Shocking, I know. Okay, where was I? I'm sorry. Do I recommend this console? Well, if you have like cartridges that don't need like extra chips on actual hardware, then yes. Or if you don't have any cartridges for the Genesis and you wanna like play some games right off the bat, yeah, I recommend this console. I'm pretty sure this console has 85 games built into this thing. And, well, most of them, like, I don't know, like half of those are actually Sega licensed titles. The other half are the bonus games, which nobody cares about. So, I almost forgot to show you, like, what the console looks like, but I actually already showed you, but yeah, so, gotta turn this off. You got the cartridge slot. And yeah, this thing is emulated, so this thing is running on an Android. I figured this out by looking up a video. There's like a certain button or switch inside if you open up the console. If you press that button or flip the switch or whatever it is, I don't know what it is, it will update it. But it will do a firmware update, but I don't recommend it because I'm not exactly sure what it will do to the console. The fact that it's not supposed to be Android. It's supposed to be a Sega Genesis with games built in, with 85 games built in, and let's look at how they replicated the Sega Genesis Model 1. Well, for some reason on this camera it looks huge, but in reality it's actually pretty small. Yeah, this thing's actually pretty not as tiny, and maybe not as tiny as an NES Classic Edition. Well, and I'm gonna show you something else I got later. I'll show you what else I got in another video. And hopefully I'm gonna be able to do all these videos today. I think AtGames has done really well replicating the original console. Look at it, you can see all the similarities. Did I say similarity? I mean similarities. 16-bit, it usually says 16-bit. Got LED controller ports. However, on the original console, they were like on the side here, I think. On the original console, the reset button is a rectangle. Here, the middle, there's like a middle here. Oh my gosh, this camera though. On the middle, there's a red line on the original console, and well, they didn't add on the new console, on the Flashback console, they did not add the volume switch, which actually makes a lot of sense. I know it to you guys it doesn't make any sense to not add the volume switch. But the reason why I think it makes sense is because, well, what's the point? Come on, this is something modern here. Like, you know what? Scratch that. Maybe they should have added the volume switch, but other than that, they did a great job replicating the original Sega Genesis Model 1. Oh yeah, and another difference. Of course, on the original, it never said AtGames. The Sega Genesis logo is down here, under the cartridge slot. Yeah. Oh boy, I'm losing my breath here. Whew. Well, hopefully later, I'm gonna be able to upload a few more videos. I'm not gonna be using my intro or outro. You may have noticed I have not been using them recently. Well, that's because I've been having some problems with keeping my memory and all, you know. Yeah. So I really have nothing else to say. Well, I hope you all have a great 2018. And I'll see you guys in the next video. See you guys later.